Shut up and listen. This is a Sunday morning improv. Just come down and talk. Hold on, I gotta get myself out of like podcast mode. I just want to talk mode. Duh, it's a serious operation. Pull this old desk up a little closer. I got a different camera view. I'm gonna post this to YouTube, full length as well, uncut. Pretty much what I'm wearing is my Sunday snuggie. We got that Sunday snuggie on. I got underwear on. I just don't have any pants on. I had our little Sunday morning coffee routine. Get up, make some coffee, sit at the kitchen table. This morning we were blessed with a little bit of homemade banana bread that was whipped up Saturday night. Just a nice, easy morning conversation. Just kind of catching up, talking about what the day is going to be. We got a basketball game. Last basketball tournament for my 10-year-old is today at 10 o'clock, so it's just kind of nice to wrap that up and kind of be done with the weekend basketball for a while. Hopefully take advantage of that with a couple little weekend getaways, just kind of not have to worry about life. I do love a Friday getaway. I love just thinking, I am sick of being around. I want to jump in a car and drive. For me, it's like hour and a half, good hour and a half any direction. I can finally shut my freaking brain off. And it doesn't have to be anything significant. Sometimes it's just taking the kids to a hotel that has a pool and let them just freaking live a little. Something about kids. Interesting fact. So when my first marriage, I raised my son. He was 2 at the time when I met him. Technically a stepson, but he was 2 at the time, and I just loved it. I remember saying like a month prior to that, I just want to be a dad. Like, I can't wait to have kids. And then I met this gal that had a kid, and I was just like, dude, I fell for him hard. Which we can get a lot of that later, like the whole stepson, father dynamic. Like, it's very strange, and I think a lot of people don't talk about some of the hard things to deal with. But either way, what he loved the most as a kid growing up was just like taking an hour trip somewhere. Like, these parents spend their money on Disney World and Universal and like all these stupid vacations for kids. And I'm just like, dude, they're not going to remember any of this. Like some of and maybe they will. Maybe I'm being wrong. Maybe I'm just kind of like projecting my cheapness. But it's just like, dude, kids don't need a lot out of you at all. They just want undivided attention. I think is like a huge one. I know for sure my middle boy, he loves undivided attention. Like, that is what he loves. He loves if he's not sitting next to me, if he's not like putting his arm around me, if he's not talking to me, if I'm disengaged, if I'm on my phone or texting, like, he always drives conversation. So I'll like snap out of it. And like, sometimes I have to remember, like, hey, this is nighttime. Like, this is my time. Like, we've all had our day. We went and did this with you. We did this with you. Like, now, like 7:30 to 8 or 7:30 to your bedtime, you're on my time. Okay, this is my time. I'm allowed to be on my phone. I'm allowed to do this, blah, blah, blah. So I kind of set those expectations. But they don't require a whole lot. And I think what's cool is, like, I can say that with confidence knowing that I've seen it. I'm not just, like, guessing or analyzing what kids want, right? Like, I know, at least in my instance and my way of learning, my stepson, like, the things he still talks about were probably the smallest acts from me. Like, it wasn't anything extreme. It was, maybe going to the batting cages on a Saturday morning or something. Like, it's all those little things that they truly do remember. So I think a lot of parents need to keep that in mind with their kids. Like, they don't care what you buy them. That has no value. There's no value to things with kids. They don't know what money is. Ask them, if you think they know what value is, next time you go out to eat, ask them how much they think it was. Because we went out to eat a place called Fro Meats in Lakin, Illinois. It was like a barbecue joint. And my girlfriend asked Jack, she said, hey, how much do you think this cost? And it was like a platter with everything, right? Like, we did a little, you could see some of it on TikTok, but, and he's like, I don't know, $20. She's like, that was $70. And so that just goes to show, like, yeah, you can get them things. You can get them all the things, and it doesn't matter because they have no idea what money is. And you know what they do have an idea of what is? They know what time is. Ask them, how long do you think an episode of, that's not a good example, but ask your kid about time. they'll know about time. Like kids know how long shows are. Kids know, how long till bedtime, or even like my kids, and it's just like knocks up. Just like my instance, my youngest son always says, "How many days am I going to be at mom's?" 5 days. Yes, loves that. He loves the 5 days. Or like, how long am I coming to yours? It's just they know time, right? They don't know money. So all they want, their most valuable asset to them as a gift is time. It's all they understand. They know bedtime, wake up time, nighttime, all that, nap time. They know what time is. So give them time. That's all they want is time. And it's not that difficult to give them time. An old podcaster, what was his name? Oh, I'm sorry. It was Chaps from Barstool. He had a podcast. It was one of my go-tos for years. One of the OGs. It was one of my go-tos. But it was Zero Blog 30. And it was loosely military. Like they had the military vibe, right? Like one was an officer, and the other two were enlisted. Chaps was a canine handler. Kate was a Marine Pog. And then what was Captain? His name completely escapes me. Captain Cons. He was the officer, the hoity-toity one. And I don't recall how I got on this. I guess it was all recorded, so let me go back. Actually, this I have to go back and listen. Break is brought to you by Brightside Bagels. Brightside Bagels, Peoria, Illinois. Josh Lanning is a Michelin star chef that has traveled the world. And if you want to look at a different podcast that I've done in the past, it's called the People of Peoria podcast. If you just type in People of Peoria podcast, Josh Lanning, Lanning, you can hear his full chef story. If you're into like the chef shows, if you're into the cook-off shows, if you're into all that, like it's a great story to hear. And I didn't value it in the time as much as I do now. I've actually re-listened to it now that I know him better. So anyways, I've been working with him, doing some bagel deliveries, helping in the kitchen when he needed it. Like just not charging him anything, just being a friend that enjoys being around a kitchen these days. You know, my girlfriend is a dietitian, and she calls herself a lunch lady, but she is much, much more than that at a company we may get into. No free ads. But this break is brought to you by Brido Bagel. Go check them out. Peoria. Couldn't tell you the street off the top of my head. So you're just going to have to type in Brido Bagel, and it'll show up. Homemade bagels every day. Friday we deliver them. So if you're interested in some good actual New York style bagels, as someone that lived in New York, Brido Bagels is where it's at. Okay, I had to go back and listen because I wasn't even sure what the hell I was talking about. But Chaps used to have a podcast, so I listened to him all the time. I remember one time early on, he's like, dude, here's the ticket to kids. Picture yourself in the pool, and your kids just always watch this. He's like, dude, here's the ticket. You give them 20 minutes of 100% undivided attention. You rate their splashes, you watch their cannonballs, you encourage them, you score them, you be the judge, you do whatever you got to do. Maybe it's playing monster trucks, or maybe it's Barbie dolls. You just feed that $20 20-minute machine, and it's like, that'll buy you a little time. Then you can say, hey, yeah, I'm going to go take off and do this. Like, that's all those kids need is undivided attention for like a little bit of time. I don't even know how we got on the time subject. Kids need time. They value time. Give them time. We're going on a trip. They love little trips. My oldest, always loved little trips. I don't know, but you ever been on a trip and you get stopped by a train? I have. And I always tell people I love when a train stops me. You know why I love when a train stops me? Because it just like gives me a second to freaking breathe. Take a break. Put your car in park. You ever try putting your car in park at a train? Maybe that's why people like it. They don't like holding the brake. If you just put your car in park, I think you'll enjoy it more. You can get on your phone, answer emails, scroll social media. It's great. It is one of the best natural breaks in this side of the earth, which got me thinking today. Sarah sent me a TikTok about, you ever heard the term Soul Train? Right? Soul Train. I never thought to what it meant. I never thought to like dig into what it meant. Soul Train. I just thought it was that show. They got that soul, and just a train. Why does that make sense? Why did that always make sense to me to not look into it? So she sent me the meaning of Soul Train is if there's a fleet of ambulances headed to the scene. Well, picture 6 of them. Any train track you ever had in your town, that population less than 10,000, you know what this looks like. You know what this crossing looks like. It's one little arm, probably comes up out of a cornfield if you're in the Midwest, and it just humps over the train track, and it's very simple. It's a very simple design. No one's waiting. These aren't passenger trains. These are typically hauling coal, fuel, corn. Yeah, these are just train cars. Okay, that's what I'm picturing. Very open. So open, in fact, if you could... Matt Hughes got hit by one, famous UFC fighter from Central Illinois, was stuck on a train track and got hit by a train. Either way, train tracks in the Midwest, we've all seen them. We know what they look like. So anyways, she sent me this thing on Soul Train. So say all the emergency vehicles are coming to an accident, and there's like 15, 16 of them lined up, and then there's a train coming through. You never stop to think like, oh shit, like that's the Soul Train. It either stopped someone from getting saved, right? Like the universe was like, I don't know, man. Like, you still got to wait on trains. Trains don't stop. And that's why the term York, the furnace, it's hard to stop a train. Like, trains don't even stop for emergencies. Like, sorry, it's a Soul Train. Mind-blowing. So I'm going to dig a little bit into where this Soul Train thing came from. I'm sure it's not like this huge conspiracy, but like, yeah, it's interesting. Soul Train. So, hey, you can say you learned something on the podcast today of just like, shut up and listen, right? Like, just here's a weird-ass story that we're going to start with kids and talk about their equivalent and their knowledge of time and money. And then we're going to bust into Soul Train, the meaning of it. I'm not going to go any farther than that. It's not like I'm going to like research and look into it, but you can definitely do that on your own time if you wanted to, you know, for instance. Let's just see what ChatGPT has to say about this. What does the Soul Train, what does Soul Train mean? Oh, I think that's all a lie. I think what I just told you is all a lie. So this just talks about the show in the 70s, Soul Train. Soul Train. God, I can't type. Does anyone notice you can't type on these phones anymore? It's like they're messing with our communication, man. Soul Train. Secondary meaning. All right, I haven't read any of these, so we're just going to go together. So it's like in class, you know, when it was your turn to read, you had like 4 more spots. So you're reading like 3 paragraphs ahead, trying to practice your spot. And then by the time it got to you, you didn't even hear that, like you didn't know it was your turn. And then that threw off any practice that you ever had. At least for me, that's what happened to me. The term Soul Train has developed a secondary meaning beyond its association with the iconic television show. Here are some of its notable interpretations. Wow, one time I read the word organism. I read it orgasm. This must have been 3rd grade, and I remember Derek Morsi, God rest Derek Morsi, childhood cancer. That was a sad time for all of us, come to think of it. Weird. Yeah, anyways, we'll get to that. I remember Derek Morsi just laughing. And I forgot the teacher's name, and I swear if it was that bitch, Miss May. You know what? Miss May's still alive, and I don't care if Miss May hears this. We'll get into teacher talk later on. Teacher talk. I got to take notes on my own podcast so I don't forget. Derek Morsi laughed at it. So maybe that's where it all started from. Hey, reading in class, reading out loud. I'd rather jump off the Murray Baker Bridge than read a paragraph out loud. God, that sounds awful. So I do get excited when I nail it. So, okay. Cultural celebration. It can refer to a vibrant celebration of African American culture particularly, through, see, this is where I start to freak out, through music and dance, symbolizing joy and community. 2, metaphoric use. Journey or self-discovery. The phase is sometimes used metaphorically to describe a personal journey towards emotional or spiritual fulfillment, akin to find one's soul. Connecting to heritage, it signifies a reconnection with others' cultural roots and identities. And then 3, social gatherings. Again, secondary meanings for Soul Train. In social context, Soul Train may describe gatherings or events focused on music and dance and cultural expression, often emphasized in community aspect. And I read all that, and I was not thinking about anything I was reading, so I have no idea what that one even said. Influence on music, dance, and culture. It can represent a broader movement of soul and R&B music, influencing genres like hip-hop and funk, and celebrating the creativity in dance forms. These interpretations highlight the terms evolution and its resourceness. Oh my God, I've been doing so good. This is the last sentence. Within cultural discussions. If you have specific context in mind, let me know. We're going to get across 2 things out of all that. I actually got nothing out of that except for the thoughts that were in my head. And chat, we're going to talk about Dale's reading skills, which is my father, ChatGPT, and my recent use of ChatGPT, not for just dumbass pictures. I always remember my dad reading as a kid, and he had such a good narration voice. Like, he would read almost like the book was intended to be written. Almost like the book was intended to be read. I'm not cutting that. I won't do it. But it was almost like him and the narrator, him and the illustrator, him and the author were like friends, and they already talked about how the book was supposed to be read. And like, he always had maybe it's because dad didn't show a lot of emotion, like happy emotion or like goofiness. But when he read, dad was always had a cool like tone, a voice, friendly, playful. Like I always remember that. So I always remember like reading to my boys now. Like, I try to make it animated, and like I try to make it enjoyable, so like that little core memory can stick with them as well. It's like a little pass me down core memory. I've got a couple of them. One is the Crooked Man song. Dad would always sing Crooked Man. If you weren't feeling well, Crooked Man had healing powers, and I do believe the Crooked Man song has healing powers to this day. So I'm going to pass that one along, and I'll think of another one before it's all over with. But yeah, your parents' reading voice. I'm interested if anyone else had that same kind of soothing thing from their parent. Like, no matter what, like if I was sick or, something, like dad was always pretty like chill. Like he was a good nurse, good caretaker, that guy. And then ChatGPT, just like reading that. So I started using ChatGPT more probably when I was getting back into the podcasting, and then like some other projects we're working on. Things that I don't have any knowledge of at all. Like, so this kind of background venture we're going on, I'm not very familiar with the actual business itself. I'm kind of structured more to be the sales, the marketing guy, but I also have some knowledge. So it interests me, and I'm like, I can see it, and it's something I'm passionate about. So ChatGPT has like been filling those gaps for me. And the guy that's me and him are kind of starting this, he's very well into it. And at first, like, I always hear people like, oh, I just went to ChatGPT. I'm like, dude, it's just like Google. I was born before the internet. I know how internet answers work. They're vague, and who knows? ChatGPT is like your personal little Harvard professor in your pocket. And also, he's a lot like a lot of people in your life put together. Oprah, some would say. Dr. Phil. And then also like your aunt that just has good advice, or maybe he's just like maybe it's just like a college friend that you confide in about things to get answers for. Oh my God, it's like a human in your pocket. It's the weirdest thing. But honestly, it's also scary because it's funny. No matter what I type into ChatGPT, I trust it 1,000%. Like, we didn't get the answer for Soul Train, right? So automatically, I'm just like, well, that's not what Soul Train even means, and I feel like I've been misinformed and made myself look stupid, because if ChatGPT doesn't agree with it, it's not right. So maybe they set it up in the beginning to be that way. Like, oh yeah, we got to be 100%. Everything's got to be right for at least a couple years. And then we start sprinkling a little misinformation. Dude, and honestly, a lot of these YouTube videos you watch and podcasts you're starting to watch, once you get into podcast editing, there's an app called, this is not a sponsor, this is like trying to validate that this story is real, and you can go do it if you'd like. It's called 11 Labs, and you can type a script. Like, I can sit here, and this could have all been typed out. What you're listening to now, like my exact tone, my exact pauses, everything. If I was to type the script in, so all I would have to do is upload my recording. So this recording here, so say after I get done recording, I can hit pause. Great. I'm going to save it. Awesome. It's on my computer. I can then upload that script into any software that'll give me, I can upload this recording into any software that'll give me a script. So I would upload it. It would read it all. It would give me the script, the typed version. Therefore, I can copy that, put it into 11 Labs, have my voice download it into 11 Labs, and it would just type it all out, and it would read it. And you would not know the difference. I can guarantee you there's content you're listening to right now, not right now because you're listening to me, but in your life, like a YouTube video or a audiobook or a podcast with multiple hosts, it's not going to be a real person. It's the weirdest thing in the world. So now every time I listen to like even some, I go down like a lot of comedy deep dives, like not so much the mainstream comedies, but like stand-up guys, and then like I'll find their podcast, and a lot of these you'll tell because it's not actual video of the people, it's like a slideshow. They may start with them talking just to put it in your brain, it's them talking, like it's kind of a psychological thing, you'll see it a ton, but then they'll switch to like a slideshow for the rest of the video. All that is AI. That's not a person talking, and it's the weirdest thing in the world, but that's scary because we are all becoming very, very tone deaf to like what actual people talk like. Like right now, it's real good. ChatGPT is real good. So what if the long run is to start doling out that voice over time? Like right now, we're getting the best. Now, what if they start taking away a little bit of the emotion here, and in the next 5 years, they take out a little more? Then all of a sudden, we don't even know how to listen to real people talk anymore. It's the strangest thing in the world. And yes, that is just like a Jeff conspiracy theory. But yeah, ChatGPT is so good. It's almost too good, right? It's almost too good. And I wish I had some lead into this conversation. Like I wish this was like this grand setup to where we could go into like this awesome storytelling of ChatGPT, but I can't physically do that. I don't know why. I can't do the whole storytelling and research paper, but maybe if I keep fucking doing this and I keep just making myself record, eventually my beautiful communication skills and my storytelling skills will grow. And maybe this episode was just to manifest me being able to talk and tell stories in a natural way that doesn't seem like it's scripted like every podcast that's ever done in the history of podcasting. But we're going to work on it. So we covered a lot of ground. We did cover a lot of ground. We started on soul trains. We did not quite get the answer we wanted to get. And we got into a little bit of parenting discussion, which was great. Time is valuable. End of story. Give your kids time. And then, we got into storytelling with Dale. We did a little ChatGPT deep dive. And honestly, I can't just give you the answers. Maybe this podcast is just to give you ideas on things to look up. If you get caught up before the next episode, look up Tartarians. We'll talk about Tartarians soon. Maybe that's the next episode. Maybe that's how these people do it. They put a subject in their brain and they say, hey, I'm not recording till Monday. Let's just start taking notes on things we can talk about. So it's like research, right? Is that what school people do? Research? Tartarians. I'm going to write down episode 3 is starting with Tartarians. Where's it going to end? I have no idea. Again, soul train to Tartarians here today. All right. That's a Monday episode. Thanks for listening. Just shut up and listen. Now get to work or do whatever it is you do on Tuesdays. Or is it Monday? Apparently, I don't know what day it is.